Hello, everyone. Welcome to NB Geeks Let's Talk. This is a little Sunday open lines. Anything you want to talk about, you want to come in on the stream, let me know. I'll shoot you the link. Uh, we're going to have a good time just talking about whatever the heck we feel like talking about. Unfortunately, it's kind of nasty weather outside in my house, so I'm stuck inside in my red room. And the lighting in here, just no matter how much I do it, either is very dark or I look like I have a dome shining. I have an interrogation light shining on my head. So I can't ever seem to get the right lighting. But who cares? But with me, someone who has perfect natural lighting in sunny California, Jack Beers. How's it going, buddy?
It's good. It's actually very nice and sunny.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have that right now. We got gloomy and rainy, uh, which was weird because yesterday it was. Um, hold on a second. I'm getting a little echo here. Let me check your mic settings on here. Okay, let me check mine. Um, Let me turn this down a little bit. That'll probably make it a little better. We'll try that. So, yeah, no, we were talking yesterday, 2 hours, all about the Mandalorian, how much we like it, and sure enough, man, wake up this morning, people are bitching, griping, complaining, and I'm trying to be civil with it. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to enjoy the moment. I'm going to enjoy this
Right.
moment. And then, of course, that wasn't good enough. It's like, oh, I thought us geeks were more, we talked about more questions and, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, yada, yada. I'm like, yeah, nitpicking used to be a thing we did out of love. Remember, I said nowadays it's kind of more of an anger thing. Oh, who's angry yet? I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I'm like that
Yeah.
last one. I was just like, you know what? I'm done with you.
You
I
know,
don't
there's
have time for this. I don't care anymore.
there's people who they're still very angry about the sequel trilogy, and I think for those type of people, the only thing that will make them forgive is if they somehow decanonize it or give them an option to have another timeline or something.
Yeah, that's probably going to be and unfortunately, I kind of like, yeah,
Like, I
I
get
mean,
it.
shit, I know I'm not a sequel fan. I've made that abundantly clear. But I've very much enjoyed where the Mandalorian went. I've enjoyed what they've done with many of the characters, and I enjoyed how we got a cameo by frickin' Luke Skywalker, and us get what for a few minutes, the Luke Skywalker we dreamed of. This
Yeah.
was the Jedi Master we had all wanted. This is the kind of scene we wanted to see. And yeah, it was very reminiscent of the Vader scene in Rogue One. I know you and I were both popping up different ones on Twitter comparing those ones, and I was like, yeah, they were great. But it was a really good story, good emotion. I think we really delved into it for 2 hours and had a great time with it. But and what comes next? Well, Ahsoka's going to be another thing. Um, Bad Batch, that's going to be coming out. I was a big fan of the character of Echo, so I do enjoy the fact that that character is coming back. So that's going to be interesting. I always did enjoy how the clones, even though they were all acted by the same person, he was able to inflect different personalities into each one of them. That must have took a lot of effort to have to do,
Yeah.
especially when he was recurring a similar character. Like I mean, he flip flopped between, different characters, but he would play them over at different points, so he was able to stay really within character to where
True.
you were. I mean, I understand the physical differences they gave with the hair and stuff and the tattoos and things like that. That was fine. I mean, it was a total great way to kind of give them a little bit of individuality to help separate them. And I agreed with it. I thought it was a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I did too. Um, there's a fundamental difference between how they like. I know I get people are still angry with the Last Jedi. My thing is this: at least they're listening now. which is something they didn't do before, at least
Yes.
until Solo. And so when I'm sorry, I'm getting the echo in my head. It's like distracting me.
I'm not hearing any echo now.
Huh. I'm not sure where it's coming from.
Let me drop out and I'll come back in.
Okay. Hopefully, I don't hear an echo now.
Do you hear anything now?
I didn't hear an echo when it was just me, but then now you're back. I hear it again.
Let me here. All right. Turned off my microphone and went to the computer one.
Okay. I can still hear it. Damn.
Son of a bitch.
Not sure what's up with that.
No, that's weird. Normally we don't. Normally we don't really have this problem. Let me.
Yeah.
I might have to check some of the mic settings. I don't know what's going on with this thing. No, I just want you to I want you to troubleshoot the darn thing.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, Dave. Good to see you, man. Sorry. Trying to figure out mic issues. Any better now?
Let's see. Oh, I don't hear it anymore.
Okay.
Whatever
good.
you did, it worked. But I wanted to. Okay, so what I wanted to explain was, the I could see Disney trying to correct their mistakes and stuff like that. I don't see Star Trek doing that. I see them, continuing on with what they're doing. They're just like they don't care about us.
Yeah, I feel like Star Trek is
They,
kind of.
they've doubled, tripled down.
Yeah, and I mean that's unfortunate, but that's the hill they decided to put themselves on, and
Yeah, and so
it sucks. And but I've just gotten to a point now, and I think I'm just better for it this way. It's just like I stopped caring. There's no, I mean,
oh no, yeah. I mean,
it's just not
with the
worth me
current team
getting
around,
into.
right.
No, what I
With the
mean,
current team around, it's really easy to expect a pattern of suck. Whereas with Disney, like they brought in, Jon Favreau, who pretty much created the Marvel universe or kickstarted it, to try and revive Star Wars, and this is what he gave us. And you can tell that he tried. You can tell that he listened to people. You can tell that he still tried to placate both sides. You know what I mean? But he did it in a much more subtle way. Like as I said yesterday, the the 4 females who took the ship as a team. The way they did that was subtle. They didn't make a big deal about it. Whereas, the Adira, who's like the first trans person on Star Trek, they tell you in the media, they put it out there in the news before it like the show is even out, because they're trying to virtue signal to people.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas what Favreau was able to do, and Dave Filoni, as we talked about this yesterday, they had a lot of goodwill coming from us. Favreau for Marvel, for the most part. I mean, yeah, there's some that are, not the greatest, but overall, good quality came out of vast majority of More Than Not,
Yeah.
and the payoff was very good. Dave Filoni had a lot of goodwill because of Clone Wars and Rebels,
Mm-hmm.
and we knew he was when we knew they were going to introduce Ahsoka. You and I both talked about it. We're like, this is Favreau's creation. He's going to do it right. We were just kind of concerned with how Rosario Dawson would portray the character, and you and I both were overall happy with that,
Oh yeah,
with a few small minor issues.
yeah, but I'm always up to forgive minor issues if the overall story is good.
Yeah, that's why when I was like, okay, I can tell, yes, the CGI is not as perfect as you would probably want, and it doesn't look exactly like perfectly like Luke would look maybe Return of the Jedi, but I felt like the payoff they gave us for it, I'm like, okay, this is just a minor issue. I don't care.
Yeah,
It's so minor, it's just not that big of a deal to me. The overall
it,
payoff was is worth that.
to me it looked good enough.
Yes.
Yeah, like I think I said it yesterday. I loved Rogue One, and Rogue One had Tarkin. You can tell his face was CG. It had Leia. You can tell her face was CG, but it was still such a good story. You can forgive all that. By the way, I think I looked it up. Carrie Fisher passed away 11 days after Rogue One was released.
Oh, damn, that's right.
Yeah, I didn't even. So like, I was wondering because I wanted to know if they had her permission. So I looked it up, and apparently they did because she was alive during that time. Um, the thing is that I think with Leia, I think Carrie Fisher is probably the reason why they will not change the sequel trilogy or uncanonize it. That being, a her final performance, and b, I remember when they were talking about maybe using CG to bring to bring Leia into Rise of Skywalker, there was an outcry about that.
I remember.
Yeah, so they said, okay, we're not going to do that. We're going to use unused footage, and everyone was happy with that. Um, well, until they saw the
Until we saw the movie.
until we saw the movie. But I don't think they want. I don't think they're going to bring her back, and so you can't really have a sequel trilogy without Leia.
No, I can't see how they would do it. I mean, there's all kinds of theories floating around. I'm not going to, like I said, I will wait and just, I don't mind listening to some of the rumors. I don't mind even discussing them occasionally. But when it comes to the reality of it, I'm kind of like, I'm gonna have to wait and see where this plays out because there's a lot of time between the Mandalorian and the Force Awakens.
Hmm.
There's like 25 years in between those two movies, so yeah, there's a lot that can happen in there that they can work with. But if you notice, most of what they're doing, and I saw this on Midnight's Edge when I watched one of their videos earlier. If you notice, they're not really going towards the future, towards the sequel trilogy. Mandalorian and maybe Ahsoka being the exception. But when you look at it now, Bad Batch is going to deal with in between episode 3, episode 4. This, what is it? This High Republic, I think it's called High Republic, is supposed to take place, I guess, 60 years before episode 1.
Hmm.
Andor is going to take place, obviously, before Rogue One. So it's going to
Yeah,
take
yeah.
place in between 3 and 4. It's going to take place not in between 3 and 4. It's going to take place in between 3 and Rogue One now.
Mm.
So they're kind of going with more. Most of their stuff is
They're filling in the gaps, I guess.
between. They're filling in that 20-year
Between
gap in those
Yeah,
areas.
yeah, but they're
S-
kind of staying away from going forward toward the sequel trilogy.
yeah,
Probably because they don't have a plan for it yet.
it would probably. That's sorry.
I mean,
That's kind of where that's where kind of the issue happens. Is you have these three movies. We don't really have a roadmap of how you get to it. Now, they may do something completely satisfying between now and to the point where they get to it that we might forgive, might might be able to like the sequels. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but it might be something that wins over some people. Not everyone, probably not. Someone like me, probably not. But it might. But you're gonna really have to sell it that way. or they can just go in this direction. Yeah, those things happened, but if you really think about it, it's only 1 year. It's
Uh-huh.
really the whole storyline between The Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker is a year, just a little over a year,
Huh.
because you got The Force Awakens, Last Jedi takes place immediately after. There's no gap in the time. It's immediately after. Those are two movies that take place within a very what short couple of months at
Some
best.
probably.
Short couple of months, and then the Rise of Skywalker takes place 1 year after.
Okay.
So maybe it says 1 year. I can't remember. It was 1 year after. So literally 1 year after. So 1 year after that is literally it's just been 1 year. That's all that storyline has is 1 year right there. So there's really actually they kind of maybe even shooting themselves in the foot kind of gave us a silver lining because there's easy ways for them to get around that story. They can get around it. They don't have to mention what happened to Luke and all that. They can just
That,
say, "Oh shit, they blew up the planets. Okay, the public's got issues going on. Come back together. Oh, boom, kumbaya. Something happened on Exegol. I mean, there is probably ways around that. I think that there are ways around it because, like I said, it's a very short window of time in Star Wars canon. That
well,
very small window.
hopefully they can do something. Otherwise, I mean, I'll keep watching as long as I like it. But once it starts to get really heavy into the sequel trilogies type of stuff, I'll just stop watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, you kind of look at it as, well, like I said, you have a very small window of time of that time frame in canon. So, like I said, there are ways they could work around it. But yeah, I'm not exactly thrilled about the idea of seeing uh, stuff get that close to the sequels. I mean, like I said, we got a 25-year time span between right now where Mandalorian is and where that would be. So we've got plenty of time to work around and stay within certain time frames. And like I
Like,
said, though, you look at the majority of what's coming out, the vast majority of it is taking place during during either the original time frame or between 3 and 4, or between 3 and Rogue One. I mean, that's really where they're focusing a lot of attention, and it's good because you have that 19-year block of time to
mhm.
really work with.
Yeah, and the other thing that Star Wars does that is better than Star Trek is for they've been able to keep the same aesthetic for the last 40 years.
Yes,
Yes, and they didn't have to like revamp anything or I
no, they
mean
didn't.
I think the most they did was they made Vader's helmet more shinier. That's it.
I think that was big. Yeah, I think we all kind of noticed that one.
Yeah, but other
But
than that, really, that was it.
yeah, they've really managed to keep the technology within the realm of it, and they've pretty much mastered most technology that they know of, except for what they brought up in the sequels was now they could track a ship through hyperdrive even without a tracking device on it. It's like,
Hmm.
okay, well, that actually was something that they were working on in Rogue One because we even heard that. So it
Hmm.
was a throwaway line, but still, yeah, they probably, of course, they'd be working on that. Of course, you'd be
Yeah.
working
So
on that kind of that kind of sensor.
yeah. So I appreciate their aesthetic, how
Yes.
they have things going. And and it's different in certain planets and stuff. I like the diversity of that. Like closer to the core, there's more vibrant cities, and then in the outer rim, it's like a ghetto ghetto planets with deserts and stuff like that. I
It's
thought
like
that was
going from Times Square to the sticks.
yes, something like that. I thought that was
Yep.
interesting. I think that's an interesting thing. And you can with that type of with that and you have a whole galaxy to explore. So you can make Star Wars movies forever if you do it right.
Yeah. But like we said, I don't think they're going to do. They're really not doing anything with the sequels. They're not making any plans about it. We're not hearing anything from The sequel got none of the sequel people seem like they even approached about the idea. Nobody asked them about reprising your role later on down the road or something. Whereas that question used to come up to, you know, Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher. Those are James Earl Jones. Are you ever gonna voice Vader again? Those kind of things would be as they were asked decades after decades.
Right.
But I don't see that with and we saw even some of that with the prequel characters. It was like a lot of times people wondered, was this person going to come back? There's been talk about the Obi-Wan spinoff with the guy who played him.
Um,
You know who I'm talking.
God, I know his name too.
I know. I'm just
I hate
Ewan
it.
McGregor. Ewan
Thank you.
McGregor.
Thank you.
Yeah. So there's been talk about that. I mean, you're getting Boba Fett. You got, yes, we know the actor who played him originally passed away. But we've
Yeah.
got the person now who's been, he's been Jango Fett, Boba Fett. He's been the clones. So this guy's got, a pretty good, history with Star Wars franchise. So giving him maybe say a season or two uh, of what's going on with his character, like we got in that last part there where it's, he shoots Bib Fortuna and there's him and Fleck up there, and they're just kind of. I'm like, that kind of had a Conan feel to it a little bit. It's kind of the way he's sitting in that chair. I was like, damn, this kind
Oh
of
yeah.
has almost. This kind of had
Yeah.
a little Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of Conan thing going there. That's literally the reference that came to mind when I thought of it. I know some people might have thought maybe a Game of Thrones thing, but I was like, nah, this looks a little more Conan. So that's interesting. But like I said, and I said the other day, we talked about, I like the idea of a little gangster Star Wars.
Yeah.
That shady side.
That
Because
shitty
I think we
side has
thought
always
that's
been
what
there.
this
Yeah.
was going to be. I think we thought that's what this was going to be. The Mandalorian was going to be the shady side of things, and it turned out to be uh, uh, a story of protection
Hmm. Yeah.
and bonding. And I don't, and none of us, I think, we didn't see that coming. And they managed to hide that real well. So I got to give them credit for being able to. I mean, I don't know how you hide the fact that you got Luke Skywalker in your episode and it never leaked.
NDAs are a powerful thing.
But I mean, that's one of those you think somebody would have made a rumor, we'd have heard something on Reddit or something like that. Nothing, not a peep. I mean, I didn't even.
Yeah.
I mean, like we said, we never gave it a thought. The most common was Ezra.
Hmm.
That was the most common thought, that it was going to be Ezra. I'm glad we were wrong.
Oh yeah. We got something much better. Yeah,
So
and the Star Trek writers room probably saw that episode, that chapter 16 of Mandalorian, and said, let's bring back Kirk. But instead, he's not going to be William Shatner, and let's make him gay. You know what I mean? Star Trek, even when they try to listen, they still fuck it up. Like they get, like they heard us when it came to the Klingorks, on how ugly they looked and how dumb it was. And so season 2, they try to fix it, but they didn't really fix it. If they fixed it, it would have been the smoothhead Klingons that are supposed to be there during that time, if they're going with canon. But instead, they make them look more like the motion picture Klingons. They get rid of like the elongated heads and stuff like that, and the double nostrils. But I mean, it's like they didn't even fix it; they just fucked it up more. and they
no,
and
what
they
they did
and
was they
that's
half-assed it. They went like, here, we fixed it. Now shut the hell up. Be happy with
yeah.
what
You're
we
happy
did.
now.
Yeah, it's like we took the time to listen to
We,
you for a
we,
little bit. Fine,
we
here you
went
go.
we
You
went
happy
into
now?
the future. We went into the future. You're happy now? No, because Michael Burnham is now taking over the fucking future. Everything.
And yet somehow, you are able to take a 900-year-old ship,
Mhm.
update it, with current 900-year-old technology, but yet you leave that one ship with the only spore drive in the entire fucking Federation.
No, realistically, they would have disassembled that ship and its spore drive, and they would have reverse engineered it and then put it on every ship they could find.
That's what they should have done.
That
Actually, I think it was I
that's what
was talking with someone. We were on I was on another channel, and somebody pointed out what that admiral should have done is he should have moved Stamets off that damn ship. He should have been on the space station doing the research, being like telling them how the spore drive works. They got
right.
900 years of
Exactly.
technology. Well, remember this too. Somebody pointed this out. They said that the reason why they needed the bio interaction is because the computer wasn't big enough. Okay, it's 900 years in the future. I'm pretty sure the computer is big enough now.
Probably.
I'm
Yeah. I would
fairly
bet.
confident the computer is going to be big enough to handle this
I would bet
by
that.
this point in time, easily. So you would think they would be putting that on every starship. Now, if they leave it on the one ship,
Why why are their holograms so glitchy? Like they make you see their holograms and they fluctuate. They weren't doing that in the 24th century. Like why is the holotech in the 24th century more advanced than the tech in the 32nd century? I don't get that.
I've always been trying to figure this one out. If these first off, I wouldn't be able to read a damn thing through these see-through screens.
No.
Second of all, what is it? I mean, is there like some kind
And
of
they're
like
and they're backwards.
feel in? Is there like any feel thrust reverse kind of thing going here? Like if you put on gloves and it's those resistant type, and, they do the rumble things and stuff like. Is that what this stuff is? Because I find it very hard to believe you're going to be doing this real well when you're like, it's like you're trying to push a roll. It's like, dude, if it's a hologram and it doesn't do anything, why don't you just go like?
Yeah,
I'm
I
just trying
don't
to
know.
figure out how they went to this kind of idea versus a freaking. I mean, a
I made
steering
a
wheel
point.
would have been something.
I made a point about their personal transporters. They shouldn't work because in order for a transporter to work, how it works is it disassembles your molecules and then it converts it into a energy stream and then it uses like pattern buffers and stuff like that to send that information off to the destination and then to reassemble it. So here's the thing: once that all of that technology is now in one badge, in a little badge, the badge, um, when you tap it or whatever, it disassembles with you. But all the pattern buffers and enhancers and stuff like that you need to like resequence everything and send it is in that badge. So once that badge is reduced to atoms, how does it know to get to the destination and to reassemble the way it's supposed to?
Oh shit, that's a good one. No, that is a good one. That is a
Yeah,
good one.
I literally woke up at night. I was like, holy shit.
That is a good one. But I mean, but yeah, I don't understand what their goal is in Star Trek. Right now, Star Wars,
To make money.
we are, well, they're doing a piss poor job of that, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Seems like it.
let's think about this. Let's think. What is it they say? An episode of Star Trek for CBS for Discovery is what 8-9 million an episode.
About 8 to 8.5 million an episode.
Eight and a half
So
million an
the most
episode.
expensive Trek show in history. Trek show, I should say. There's more expensive shows out there, but
Yes.
but they spend that much money, and their ratings for CBS TV has not even broken 2 million viewers.
Yeah, I've seen your things there. So let's think about this. I don't know how much an episode of Mandalorian costs, but let's put it in the fact that it's got to be freaking in the high budget area. I
I'm
mean
assuming, yeah.
the props, the special effects, the practical effects. I mean the practical effects of all the different artists, designers who have to come up with that stuff, the puppeteering and things like that. You got to remember, Baby Yoda, as I said, was being controlled by 5 puppeteers,
Yeah.
each one with a different function. So that's
Mhm.
5 people who have to get together and understand each other's movements and understand this character. So when one guy's doing something, they're, kind of syncing together. That takes a lot of dedication.
Cost around $15 million an episode.
Okay. They spent their money wisely.
Oh yeah.
See,
And by the way, Disney Plus has like 10, 20 times the amount of subscribers that CBS All Access does. And Disney Plus is newer.
Yes.
So
well, Disney Plus had enough sense. They were like, that's why they acquired Fox. That's why they still have stock in Hulu. I mean, think about this too. They managed to be like, hey, we got stock in Hulu. We can throw some of our, Fox related stuff into the Hulu base.
Like the
Orville in it. Huh?
Like the Orville.
Yeah.
Which will be out on Hulu.
Yeah. It's like the Orville. Hey, Pop Culture Avenger.
Hello.
Hey man, you're
Merry
more than
Christmas.
happy to come in here. I got the link in the StreamYard. StreamYard, if you guys want to come in, this is an open line. We're just kind of talking about, well, right now we're still a little bit on Star Trek, Star Wars, kind of doing our comparisons of what's going on between the two franchises. One seems like it's building back its goodwill in a lot of areas and showing some promising future. And then, of course, Star Trek is just a fucking dumpster fire in hell. I mean, I don't even think the devil wanted to be like, he'd be like, you know what? This is hell. We have standards.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I don't understand. There is no hero journey. There's no hero's journey in Discovery. Like they did a really contrived version of it for Michael Burnham in season 1. To the point where she got arrested for mutiny, and then in the end she's like pardoned and given a medal. That's a character arc, but it was the way they did it was so contrived that it was unbelievable.
Now let's take Din Djarin.
Yes.
16 episodes. 16 episodes. That's all we get. Some of those episodes are under 40 minutes long.
Yes.
So we need to make sure we put that kind of stuff into context there. Because some episodes were 45 minutes long, some were close to an hour, but they were few and far between. Most of them were under 40 minutes. They were very short episodes. So they had to put a lot into it. What starts out is what we think is going to be a kind of a bounty hunter quest, turns into a story of a person who, one, has a deep distrust of droids. The explanation is done very well through the visuals and makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
But it becomes a story of a bond between this man who's pretty much only known one thing in his life now. That is this Mandalorian culture he's involved in. He doesn't know anything about the other Mandalorians, because we all ask, why is he making a big deal about his helmet? Why are they making a big deal about it? Yes, we get the answer in season 2, and it's done properly. Why it makes sense. It's done by other Mandalorians. Bo-Katan's like, I am a Mandalorian. I was born on Mandalore. And, kind of gives the explanation. And even though still he doesn't trust her right off the bat, because he's kind of like, this is, to him, a perversion. So when we get to the end, and it's like, he has this really sacred held thing about, the helmet. Mm-hmm. He takes the helmet off for Grogu, so Grogu can see him. And it kind of has that payoff that you could call it, I'm sure somebody out there's called it a ripoff from The Return of the Jedi. Luke, let me look upon you with my own eyes thing. I'm sure there's somebody out there, but the point is the emotion that builds up to where we are from the first time we meet Grogu to the end of this episode. And you've seen them bond and interact, and even though you can't really see his face throughout it, you can kind of tell the emotions that are going in because he's got to do this. He's got to act with his tone. You gotta know what he's saying through his tone and the way he's talking and his body movement and stuff. You have to read all that stuff, so you really can read those emotions on him. And it was very touching and very heartfelt. And 16 episodes, 2 seasons, and they wrapped up a very good story arc in Star Wars.
Yeah. And, I used to get this, when I talk to people about Star Trek, they would give me this excuse about, well, how you never really knew the names of the other bridge members until the second season. And then so one of the complaints about that is they never give these people character arcs, so you don't really know them, you don't really give a shit about them, right? And the people will be like, well, those Star Trek back then had 20 something episodes to get all to get to know the characters. This only had 13 episodes, so it doesn't have as much time, so we have to focus on Michael Burnham. It's like, no, we don't. But I will say the third season, second episode, I have a lot of problems with that episode. That ship should have burned up in the atmosphere. The Discovery. So, episode 2, season 3 was when the Discovery went through the wormhole, and then they crash landed into that planet. Now, if you remember immediately before that, they were in a battle. Them and the Enterprise were in a battle, right? And then, so there's damage from that. And then they go through this wormhole, which who knows what type of damage it did. Obviously, it did some sort of damage because, the ship wasn't responding for a while. Everybody passed out. And then when they came to, they were going through an asteroid field, and they busted through an asteroid.
Yeah.
Right? And then they started going through the planet's atmosphere, and it didn't show it burn up. I don't know why. It should have looked like a comet. You know how I think it's the Columbia. There should have been hull breaches all over that ship, and the plasma
never should have been able to land. It wasn't a Galaxy class saucer section. It wasn't designed for that. It wasn't Intrepid class. No ship back then should have been able to survive that kind of landing, much less get off the planet. But thankfully, Michael Burnham saved him at the last second.
So I have a lot of
Avenger asked a question. Hold on one second, and then you can talk, and then just give me a second. I'm gonna go grab some more water. He goes, "What do you guys think about the short movie Black Angel that debuted with Empire Strikes Back in the '80s UK?" Man, I was a child. I was a baby at the time, so I don't even know anything about that.
Yeah, I was negative 3 years old, to be honest, when The Empire Strikes Back came out. I was born in 1983 when Return of the Jedi came out. So for as long as I've been alive, there's only been one version of Luke, the one Luke Skywalker when, in Return of the Jedi. I don't count the sequel trilogy as Luke Skywalker. In fact, Mark Hamill himself said that that's Jake Skywalker that he was playing. So I don't count any of that. So it's been 37 years. That's how old I am since we last saw Luke Skywalker, and now we see him today. But yeah, I'm sorry. I've never seen Black Angel. So what I was going to say before was that I have a lot of problems with that episode of Discovery. But because Michael Burnham is not the center of that episode, it allowed Saru to shine. And I actually started liking his character more in that episode because you got to see him act like a Starfleet officer, which is very rare in Discovery. The last time someone acted like a Starfleet officer in Discovery was Captain Georgiou. Yeah. So I did appreciate seeing that, and it did make me like his character better. I think they did find a balance with him. Although I think it was the stupidest decision to make Tilly his number one, because that Jet Reno person, she's a commander. She's the highest ranking officer on the ship other than Saru, and Saru didn't even consider her. Stamets and Culber are both lieutenant commanders. Didn't consider them.
Yeah, hold on a second. I'm just gonna turn my chair around. I'm gonna turn over here. I'm gonna get on my couch.
So yeah, that was my.
Yeah, I wondered about that too. Actually, the thing was that character played by Jet Reno.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the first character I actually liked.
Like her sarcasm's, I don't know. Like it's on and off. It's on and off. I don't really. I don't know. The part in the end of season 2 when Pike tells her to get on something, get on to do something, and she's like, I am, get off my ass, sir, get off my ass, sir, and then the door closes. I
Yeah.
kind of chuckled on that a little bit. But overall, like when they first introduced her character, I wasn't really into it. Sometimes she'll make me giggle, but I don't. I'm not really into that character, and she's not really in. She's in like 3 episodes a season, it seems.
And how long has Tilly been a commissioned officer now? All of a couple of months?
Probably
I mean, a
because
couple of
she
months.
starts off as a cadet,
Yes,
right?
but she's
And
only
so
been a commissioned officer for a couple of months.
right, and so she was commissioned. Yeah, so and now she's the first officer. Wow. When I first saw Tilly, when they first introduced Tilly in like the second episode, I think it was. Um, it felt like she was an underdeveloped character, and she was so underdeveloped in my head that I thought they were going to kill her off. Like I thought she was going to be just some half-ass character that they were just going to kill off eventually.
And now she's an expanded character in more
And
ways
so
than one.
and so when they when I realized that she was going to be a reoccurring character, I was hoping that there was probably going to be. I was hoping that there would be a character arc where by the end of the season she's like a competent Starfleet officer. You know what I mean? And they don't do that.
Don't they just make her stupider each season? I've heard.
The next season the first thing they did in the second season, after they find the Enterprise, everyone's trying to find a way to communicate with the ship, and they're going back and forth, and Tilly goes, "What about Morse code?" She kind of yells it. She's like, "What about Morse code?" And everybody, even including the music, stops and looks at her like, "Why are you yelling?" It was the stupidest thing. Like it was supposed to be comic, like comic. It was like, why are we stopping for this? Like she was doing just about the same thing everybody else was doing, going back and forth with their ideas. So I didn't really get that. And then the further they got into the season, the more I seriously began to question whether or not she was on the spectrum, because of the things that she said, the way they would stammer. She would stammer and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was just really, it started making me seriously question that. And, it seems like this season they toned that down a little bit, but now they made her like over emotional. It's not in the mirror universe. I kind of like her mirror universe version, but in her normal version, where she's a little more emotional now. Like every time she sees Burnham and she talks to Burnham, her eyes water up and stuff. It's like, okay, whatever.
Well, you brought up a good point too, where it's like, oh, we only have 13 episodes, so we can only focus on certain. Okay,
but The
let's put it this
Mandalorian
way.
only had 8 episodes for a season, and they were able to tell a tight story.
And we learned a lot about Cara Dune.
Yep.
Learned a lot about Carl Weathers' character.
Mm-hmm.
We got some good backstory with what was the guy's name? The guy who had the Boba Fett's armor.
Oh, what's his name? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but he was also a developed. His character was developed to where we would
very well
see him again.
Yeah.
Then you also had, Baby Yoda's character evolved.
Mm-hmm.
We got some pretty good idea on what was going on with Ahsoka in a very short amount of time. The episode was done. And Cara Dune's character got expanded on. Carl Weathers' character got expanded on. And they didn't use them every episode. Bo-Katan, we got plenty of backstory with Bo-Katan going on there, what she's been doing since the Clone Wars and Rebels. So
I like how...
and Boba Fett. Oh, and then how they did Fleck, bringing her back. Which I thought was really cool. I like her.
I like how they expanded on Cara Dune's character to be from Alderaan. Actually, yes. I like that. I like that background aspect, because now like she's got a motivation behind her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what they did was they made characters. They used those characters sparingly when they used them. They didn't overuse them, and the storyline was tighter, and it was a better
story. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just overall a better story, and they managed to do a great story arc in 2 seasons of 8 episodes on a very high budget, but at least it still looks and feels like a Star Wars. And then
Right.
you have, and they did a real great job. I mean, think about how many times we saw how effed up the Razor Crest was, and we actually were seeing the damage.
I know.
Unlike,
I love how they kept the damage, you know, after the episode, and then like he would have to like go somewhere for repairs, and it was like half-assed done, so you have to go somewhere else. I love how they did that. I was actually I thought it was an ugly ship, but I was actually sad when they blew it up.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I like the aspect of that. I like how they stayed to that detail. Whereas one of the biggest complaints we had in Voyager was from episode one
They
to the
repair the
end of the
ship.
series, it still looks like the ship just came off the assembly line.
Yeah.
That ship should have been held together by Valen wire and sheet metal, like
Remember
the
the
Razor
third
Crest was.
remember the third season of Enterprise where by the end that ship was damaged to hell.
Yeah.
You
Oh
know,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of what I like. I like when they do that type of. You're right. Voyager should have done something like that. They didn't really. I just missed opportunity, I guess. Um,
Well, because
yeah.
remember in Battlestar Galactica when Ronald Moore was doing that, you did see the damage that was getting taken by the ships and things. You saw
Oh
the
yeah.
Battlestar looking like, battle damage and stuff.
Hmm.
So, they paid attention to that. And like we said, though, think about this: they spend so much money on on Discovery, and it's these special effects that are, well, not necessarily this. They're not needed this intense. I mean, Star Wars has an even bigger thing because they're like, okay, we are doing practical effects, we're showing aliens and staying proper with it. Because like when we saw the episode where they were on that water planet,
Hmm.
and we saw it was the Mon Calamar and the Quarren,
Yeah.
and it was like it makes sense that both of them because they come from the same world.
Right.
So
That
yeah,
that
this
that
made
I like. I like how I was able to just put two and two together like that too.
that's made sense. That's like, no, that makes sense why they would be the dominant species on this planet if this is, kind of similar to their own environment. You would probably see someone like I can't think of his name. The Jedi who had the very long tentacles in the back. He was green.
I know who
But
you mean. I don't know his name. I don't know all of the Jedi Master names.
yeah, I don't remember his name off the top of my head either. But I do know that his species was also based similar like that because during the Clone Wars, he was actually part of a battle that took place on the Mount Calamari homeworld
Nice.
because the Mon Calamari and the Quarren were actually on opposite sides of the conflict.
Okay.
So the Quarren were part of the sided with the Confederacy of Independent Systems.
Oh, interesting.
So there was that aspect there. So, but it was pretty cool to see that. This is probably one of their colonies they had set up, and
Hmm.
something they build, and this is what the people do. So, and of course, it made sense for the Frog Lady to want to be there because obviously, amphibious life. This
Right.
is a planet you think,
That makes sense.
obviously, this would make sense for someone who likes that kind of climate to, be on a water planet, probably seeking employment there. I mean, it's not like you're going to see most of these guys hanging around Tatooine.
I actually liked that character, the Frog Lady, for some reason. Like, I really liked her character. Like she was. I mean, she was just motivated. Getting her eggs to her husband and everything. But you saw how like protective she was of the eggs. Like it was too cold in that ship, so she went and found a natural spring, and
Yeah,
you know, she at one point Mando was going to give up, and because the ship was damaged to shit, and she like rewired that one droid so she could speak his language and they can talk. So
yeah.
she was a smart character. I would like to see that character maybe next season somewhere like down the line. Maybe she'll help him somehow.
I did like how they did with that character, where once she started to fear for her life big time, she jumped into all fours
Oh,
and went
I
in
love
that
that.
frog form.
I
And I
love
thought
that.
that was
That was
really well done.
that was great. That was actually I love that detail too. Yeah, they so much. That was really good. I really loved how they did that. I you know, and of course, like they you know they probably did their best to study frogs and stuff to make sure they got the jump right.
Yeah, and yes, I thought that character was pretty interesting too. But that's how we we're saying this has been the contrast. Whereas there has been a lot of anger at Star Trek since the JJ movies, and then the Kurtzman era. Now, there's been a lot of anger, and it seems like we're getting told to go f off in one hand, and oh, we're gonna half-ass fix this. See, now be happy with what we've done. You're welcome.
You want
Whereas,
Picard? We'll give you Picard, but like he's a totally different person.
yeah,
We're gonna give you Tapestry Picard.
yeah, but then you go into
That man is bereft of passion and imagination.
yeah. That was like this is literally the guy this is the guy that Picard would fought everything to not become,
Exactly,
and he still turned into him. And I'm finding that just very disturbing in the way they treated Picard. But I mean, come on, he got the crap beat out. He was getting beat up by every female character around. That's what's funny about that. That's what's sad.
The pure fucking hubris part.
Yeah, that was such.
I will never forgive them for that.
I find it very annoying that Picard had to spell his name.
I just found it very annoying that as much as that man has given to Starfleet, that he would be treated that way.
Yeah.
Even if he left under like less than even if he resigned because he was mad or whatever, you would think that if he needed something, it's got to be serious. It's Picard. He's
got to still have plenty of favors he could call in.
And you know what? He could have called Worf, who was I think he's the chancellor, not chancellor. He's an ambassador to the Klingon homeworld now, or something like that, right? The Federation ambassador.
Yeah, he was that for a while. I don't know if he still would be at that point.
I mean, maybe not at that point, but he'd still have connections. So I would think that if Picard really needed a ship, he would have called Worf. But we all know why he didn't call Worf. It was because the Klingon makeup.
Yeah, let's not. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh, but LDS at least managed to make Klingons look like Klingons. I mean, not perfectly, but at least they look like Klingons should.
Right. They used the TNG motion picture aspect of the Klingons. I think that was fine.
Yeah.
As much as we gave Lower Deck shit, it's actually kind of the superior of the three shows.
It's the one where we got the most. I mean, literally, if you think about it, it's the one we got the most character development out of multiple characters.
Right, and the aesthetic was actually respectable. The aesthetic, the animation was kind of shit, but it didn't matter. Like
we kind of knew that's what we were going to expect, though.
Yeah, I was expecting that because of the Rick and Morty.
Hey, welcome aboard, buddy.
I am the Kling Orc.
Yeah. But I mean, when you look at though, like we said, and Kathleen Kennedy, that stupid comment she made years ago, and and she's like, "Oh well, we didn't have any material to go off of." It's like, do I need to send a picture? I was like, I got two bookshelves.
Universe. You have
two bookshelves dedicated to just Star Wars EU. Don't tell me you don't have material to work with.
Yes.
And Dave Filoni, Dave Filoni figured out how to use that material.
Mm-hmm. And he did it so well. He did it so well.
What are you guys talking about? Flight of the Navigator?
You are the Navigator. I missed that.
You want to live this way, you got to jump in the water.
I got to watch
that. Special odds, cheddar cheese, pickles, onions.
It's been so long since I've seen that movie.
Yes, but it was Pee Wee Herman.
Yes.
Yes, it was. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was Paul Rubens.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, well, he was
Pee Wee
credited as
Herman
Paul
is the,
Rubin, yes, but we
yeah.
all knew it was Pee Wee Herman.
Pee Wee Herman is the character. Paul Rubens is the actor.
Yes, but you know he was credited as Pee Wee Herman.
I thought he was credited by his actual name.
I thought he was credited as Pee Wee Herman.
I don't. Oh man, I'd have to look it up now.
Oh.
I don't know. No, we're just talking about anything in particular. It kind of came into we're talking about the current state of, Star Trek and Star Wars, whereas Star Trek seems like they just want to half-ass and say, "Here, take it, thank you." Whereas what Star Wars seems like they're really trying to do is being like, "Okay, we got it. We're gonna try and work on this." It's like we can't make everything perfect, but we're trying to give you what you asked for, what you want, what you expect of us.
Oh, you said anything and everything. I was going to mention that. Did you know Antarctica's ice is 3% of it is made up of penguin pee?
Oh God,
that would make sense. And then it would, and then the penguins would drink the pee, and then pee out the pee, and then drink the pee. Yeah,
I can believe that.
I did not know that yesterday.
What was this? What? Oh, so what was your stream about today, Elihu? What were you talking about?
Oh, the Great Conjunction, and
Nice.
and what the apogee and perigee is, or what the solstice and what it actually means. A little description.
Oh, nice.
I had this idea. I might do it, but I have to go find my battery charger and everything. But I might just go out. Is it on the 22nd? I think
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Oh, okay. Well, maybe tomorrow night, and go out there and try and take some photos.
Well, you can take some photos tonight, but tomorrow will be the closest.
Right.
If you go out tonight, so my camera can see this. If you go out tonight, you'll see. Okay, look at the circle.
I see it.
You'll see the say the circle is Jupiter. Okay, where my finger is where Saturn will be. Tomorrow night it'll be right here, right on top of it, but it'll still be really close. The moon will be over here.
I see. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I like, so it's like the first time in like, X amount of hundreds of years or whatever that this conjuncture will happen. I think that's pretty interesting.
Well, the conjunction happens every 20 years.
Oh, it does.
But the way the planets line up and the elliptical orbits, that's why that's rare.
Okay.
So
All
how
right.
many planets are lining up?
2.
It's
All right.
Jupiter and Saturn.
Jupiter and Saturn.
Okay,
I mean,
'cause
isn't
my
that-
son was talking about that. He said, "Yeah, there's going to be some planets lining up."
Yeah, this happened. It hasn't happened since 1623.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Long time.
So does this make them easier to be seen?
Well, you can always see Saturn and Jupiter. This month you can see every single planet, including Mercury, this month in the night sky. But the way they line up is called a conjunction. This is rare to actually see from the Earth perspective. That's why it's so rare.
Ah.
I mean, if you were standing on, say, Mars, in another 15 years, you'll see another conjunction of 2 planets. It's the way the planets orbit around the sun. See, our solar system is not a flat plane.
Nope.
No.
That's why if you in a space shuttle and you're below Jupiter, you can go a direction and run directly into Earth. I'm like, wait a minute, it's not an exact plane. Yeah, exactly. The way the planets are up and down.
Yeah. I know just what you mean. Yeah, I don't know. I've always, like, long ago, like I was so into like studying the solar system and space and everything, and I got to visit like 2 or 3 of the best museums, space museums in the U.S. There's the Smithsonian in Washington D.C., which is
Of course.
probably the best.
Mhm.
There's the California Science Center, which is in Los Angeles, and
By the observatory.
and then there's a museum in Kansas. It's in the middle of Kansas, like Hutchinson, Kansas. It's called the Cosmosphere, and I was curious about it because they had a half mock, like a full size half mock up of one of the space shuttles that I wanted to see. And this was before the Endeavour went to the California Science Center. So I actually flew all the way to Kansas to visit this museum, and it was such a good museum. I wish I can go back there. It was so good.
I forgot where this guy lived, but he has a complete replica of the cockpit of the shuttle.
Nice.
Every switch, dial, seat is in the exact position. And since Hollywood got a hold of that, every single movie you see that has a cockpit shuttle from a shuttlecraft, that's his prop.
Oh wow, that's a nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, Hollywood doesn't build it. They just contact this guy because everything is
And
exactly as it is.
Because it would be
he just
cheaper to
leases
rent.
it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's awesome.
How about the local economy?
Yeah,
Hollywood actually
I-
doing something halfway decent.
I know.
Yeah.
I know older the classic Star Trek. They used to do the same thing. There was some stuff up for auction that used to be. They used Star Trek used to rent this stuff as props, and you see stills from episodes where you could see the props and stuff. And there was some sort of auction that was going on. I wish I remembered what it was, but there was a couple of things that from their sick bay and their engineering sections that you can tell, okay, yeah, that's definitely from there.
Well, did you know the episode Relics where James Doohan appeared on TNG?
Yes, Relics.
The chair, the captain's chair, that was not a Hollywood-owned prop. It was a private contractor. The guy specifically the guy said, I want to be on set and nobody can sit in the chair. Like, well, James Doohan wants to sit in the chair. It's like, okay, Scotty, yes, no one else. And every time somebody approached the chair, the guy was right there. Yeah.
I do remember that story about that chair. That was the original captain's chair from Star Trek, and
Yes.
he was very protective of that chair. Probably still is.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not as much, because I got a picture of my kids on that chair.
Maybe at the time. Well, you got to remember, we are talking. Oh God, how long ago now?
Oh yeah, that
93.
Between when that happened and that was a long time. But at the Air and Space Museum in San Diego, they had a traveling Star Trek exhibit that was going on there, and it included a full replica of the Enterprise bridge.
Ooh.
But it was all of it was a replica except for the captain's chair. And the captain, if you sat in the captain's chair, they'll take a picture of you, and of course you had to purchase the picture.
Of course.
Which of course you're going to most likely do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I brought my kids in because they didn't know much about it. I kind of wanted to show them about Star Trek and stuff like that. They didn't really watch the shows. They were children, and so when we got to that room, we were like, "Oh shit, that's the
bad dad, bad parenting."
That's the captain's chair. Hey, girls, sit here. So they sat on the captain's chair, and I stood behind them, and we took the picture. So we have a picture with that captain's chair where they're sitting in it. And there was nobody that stared angrily at me when I did it. So at least that.
Hang on a second. Sorry, responding to a tweet.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, my Twitter is now limited to just a very select group of people. Hey man, I'm trying not to get this one. I'm trying not to get. I'm trying not to have to get banned again.
Right.
I'm trying not to get banned this time. I'm like, okay, I'll just talk my crazy politics stuff on Parler. or on Facebook. Most people there know who I am, so they already know everything about me.
Yeah,
I talk shit about the current administration. I talk shit about Elon Musk. I talk shit about baseball players. I don't get anything.
I don't get it.
Okay, hang on a second. I gotta bounce out for a minute because I gotta have a little conversation with Chris Knight.
Okay, no problem, bud.
I'll be back.
He's welcome to come hang out if he wants to.
Okay, I'll be back.
All right, bud. But yeah, when you look at our current state of stuff, there's at least a hope in the way Star Wars is going. I know it sounds a little cliche when you think about it, but there is some hope going on, and there is some goodwill there. Star Trek doesn't have it, and I have a feeling that Marvel might be running out of steam.
They might be. I don't know what's going to happen with Marvel. I don't. It seems like this new phase is centered around Doctor Strange's what is it called? Multi-universe of madness or something like that. Universe of Madness, multiverse of madness. I think that's what it's centered around. That and the Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. Hey, Positive Candor, welcome in, man. It's just
Hey,
an open chat time, buddy. We are not talking about anything specific.
Okay, that's
Just
cool.
kind of floating where the topics are going. So I don't know when it comes to Marvel right now. Okay, I'm sure Black Widow is going to make some pretty good money. The Spider-Man certainly will. Uh there's a couple others that probably will, but as far as making Guardians of the Galaxy will make money, but as far as some of these other ones making the kind of money that some of these other ones have done, I have serious reservations. I could be wrong. Uh, Black Panther is going to be an interesting one for them to have to deal with their lead actor passing away this year,
yeah.
which is too bad. I mean, I got to give that man, when I found out, his illness, I'm like, this guy worked his ass off as an actor,
He
not
didn't tell
missing, not
anybody about it for like 6 years, and in those 6 years, he like became like Black Panther, and he started getting more roles and stuff.
yeah, and he managed it. I got to give the man a lot. I had to give the man a lot of respect for that because in Hollywood, to keep a secret like that and to not, try to milk it or some BS like we've seen them do. I mean, I got to give the man credit a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Uh, so they're going to have to deal with it. Now, I don't know. I mean, when it comes to the Disney TV series, the ones that are coming out, obviously I can pretty much say this. I would say almost with all certainty that they are never going to talk about the Netflix Marvel characters.
No,
I don't think they'll ever bring that up.
I think the where they brought out oh god, can't for Jarvis, when they brought out Jarvis in Endgame, I think that was an homage, but I think that's it. I don't think they're going to do anything else with that.
Yeah. And then you have, but okay, so we have these series, and obviously they're going to spread them out throughout 2021. They're going to spread out. I mean, we're going to have.
Does anybody know what WandaVision is about? Like,
They are.
I have no idea what the point of that show is so far. Like, why do you want me to watch that show? Like, I don't know what it's about.
Yeah, yeah, I'm in the same boat with you there. I'm not sure what that's about.
And I love
like.
Scarlet Witch. I don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I just want to know what I'm watching.
And it has Adina Menzel. I think that was who I saw in it too, right? Dina Menzel's going to be in it. She's in it. She's a good actor, so we'll see. I like the fact that we're watching. I like the way the Falcon and Winter Soldier look. So
At least I have an idea what that's about. Yeah.
yeah, so we're getting Falcon has decided he's not going to carry the shield for
Right.
this part. So this storyline might be to build up by the end of it where basically he decides he feels ready to take up the shield.
That's what I'm
And
thinking. That's kind of what I'm hoping, but we'll see.
Loki, I don't know. I like Tom Hiddleston, but I don't know. We'll see.
That trailer was even more confusing than the WandaVision one.
Yeah, and then but I did like what was that? Owen Wilson or Luke? Which Wilson was that? That was Luke, right? Wasn't it?
No, it was Owen.
That was Owen Wilson. Yeah,
Yeah.
that I did get a chuckle out of. So yeah, I have no idea. That's confusing as hell. Hawkeye. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
Like,
Jerry
I'm
Rayner
not
is
gonna.
not exactly
I don't
my
see myself
go-to guy
watching
when I
all
think
of
of a
these
show.
shows. I don't see myself watching every single one of them. Maybe like one or two of them, depending on how good they are too. Because I don't even know. I mean, I love Tom Hiddleston, and I love Loki and Scarlet Witch and everything, but I'm not gonna watch it just for the sake of watching it. You know what I mean? Like, I want a good story behind it.
Now, did either of you guys notice in that Loki video? Because I just noticed this. Are they trying to hint that they're going to bring Scarlet Witch back? Because I'm like, okay, she's in a black outfit and red hair. But that being said, her character didn't have red hair at the time, not at least not all the way.
Right.
So I'm not sure if that was
You,
supposed to be
you,
like a little.
you
What do you
mean
think,
Black?
Positive?
You mean Black Widow, right?
Yeah, Black Widow.
Yeah, yeah. They'll bring her back because in an alternate timeline, she would still be alive.
Oh, kind of like they did with Gamora.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Same thing with Gamora, and you know, but yeah, they could have different people, obviously dead instead. Um, so yeah, I guess we'll see what they do. But yeah, they're gonna bring back Black Widow. Um, at least in the Loki TV show. I don't think she'll be featured prominently, but she'll get like a cameo or whatever you want to call it, type deal probably.
Hmm.
Because yeah, if they wanted to branch her off eventually to her own show, I guess they could do that. Um, you know, I guess we'll see which way they want to go with her character. Um, but yeah, it's. I mean, I don't mind bringing back dead characters because I mean, even they even wanted to do it in the Prime timeline. I guess you could write it around that somehow or another too. I mean, there's always a way for comic book characters, especially more than anything else, to come back from the dead.
And well, it used to be the old saying: the only two characters that ever stayed dead is Uncle Ben and Bucky Barnes, and then now it's just pretty much Uncle Ben.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you don't have
Oh,
powers,
oh, wait a minute, and Martha and Thomas Wayne.
yeah,
Somebody, this is kind of back to the Star Trek Star Wars thing, but somebody pointed out to me that they were thinking the other day how lines like "This is the way" and "I have spoken" picked up right away, and not a single one of those stupid one-liners from Drek have cut on. And so I responded, "That's the power of math, people."
yeah.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
right. That is true. This is the
yeah,
way. I mean, I have spoken. I mean, we started. I mean, we still are using them when we're talking
yeah,
about these shows,
yeah,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
the
Rather than
characters caught on. I mean, when the one character Quill, when he died, I was really bummed out about that.
yeah.
I mean, there isn't a single character in Star Trek Discovery or even on Picard that I really would get teary-eyed if they kill him. I mean, let's be honest, they killed off Data. Did anybody really care?
I cried.
I didn't.
Not in Picard, but no, in the Nemesis when they blew up, I was actually that shocked me. I was like, no, that was my favorite character. So yeah, but
Yeah, and then they went ahead and screwed it up in
and then they
Picard.
screwed it, and by the time of Picard, I felt nothing. Yeah, I felt nothing with that. Which is funny because Luke Skywalker shows up. He was not my favorite, he was not my favorite Star Wars character, but he still showed up, and I was like, oh my god, emotions and shit, right?
Yeah.
This version of Jean-Luc Picard dies, and I'm like, whatever.
yeah,
This
so
is
basically-
boring. Can we hurry this up so we can get to the next scene, please?
Yeah, they basically killed two characters in the same episode, Data and Picard. You know.
Yeah, and then they try to re-kill Data, which was weird. Like, terminate my existence. It's like, you've been dead for 20 years.
Yeah.
I was like trying to figure this out. I'm like, so let me see if I get this straight. You've managed to make androids that can mind meld. You've managed to make okay. You've managed to make droids that you managed to make a Golem that can take the entire conscious of Jean-Luc Picard and put it into a body, but you couldn't make a body for Data in that 20 years. And also somehow Soon has a son. It's like
Yeah. They should have kept it. They should have just made it lore. They
that
should
would
have
have
made
made more
that lore.
sense.
Yeah, I was thinking that was lore in a Golem body. I was a little too clever for these people, apparently. But that's what I thought. Okay, that's got to be lore. You know, who probably, you know, Maddox could have gotten a hold of and reassembled, and then they could have worked together to create these androids. That's what I was thinking. But no, apparently Soong had a son, and it just looks like regular Brent Spiner. I don't know.
Or here would have been a sense if they had put lore together, then all those androids going crazy would have made a lot more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Versus it was the Romulans.
That was dumb. With the that whole Romulan plot was dumb.
Well, and the whole Borg plot was dumb too, really.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
They used the Borg ship as a background for this novella love theme stuff that I gave no shits about. That was terrible.
How about the fact that every time you turned around, every time you saw the sister and brother together, you thought they were gonna start having sex?
I thought that I thought that she was jealous of her brother because her brother was fucking that Soji, was it? I think her name was.
Yeah. Either Soji or
yeah. So they were having sex, and she kept like talking about it as if it bothered her. So it told me like, is there like a sexual attraction between these two? Like their brother and sister, have they fucked? I don't know.
Yeah, I was. Oh, and then let's not even forget about the fact that character is totally missing at the end of the entire season. We have no idea what happens to him. He's just all of a sudden gone. You know, the guy's sister is dead. You know, should be in custody, but instead they're like, oh yeah, he was in custody. It's like,
yeah,
really?
Later on,
no,
in one
just
of these,
forgot about him.
Yeah, in one of the panels, like somebody actually asked what happened to, I think his name was Narek or something like that, and I don't know, but they said something like, oh no, he was supposed to be taken into custody, but they ran out of time. Whatever, lame excuse. They forgot.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, they ran out of time. My ass.
I mean, they had, you know, you had a whole, you know, they had 3 whole episodes before Picard was in space, which was bullshit. They should have had him in space by the end of the first episode. You know what I mean?
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like have all that motivation. He's dying or whatever, and then, you know, he uses it to, like, you know, decide to go on this, you know, this trip. Goes to Starfleet, asks for a ship. They give him a ship because, you know, this is, you know, we're talking about actual Star Trek, what they would actually do. You know, maybe give him a small crew. He'll take maybe Rafi. You know, and then like maybe she's just like the troublemaker of the whole group or whatever. But that whole thing should have happened in the first episode, and then after that you would have had 2 extra full episodes to make sense out of everything else. I don't know.
Well, let's remember they gave us the episode where she's a shit mom, and it's like, I don't care. I don't care. I have no emotional connection to this character. Why would I care if she's a shit mom? I didn't
understand why they did that because, you know, like I know that they're trying to get more diversity in these shows, and you know, so there's going to be more African Americans, more Latinos, more whatever's.
But why are they making them shit moms?
Right. That's what I didn't understand. I'm fine with them, you know, with all the women in the Admiralty being women and stuff like that. But why do they all have to be assholes?
Yeah.
You know. So I don't get that type of stuff. And I think that's just
all your you're not making these women strong. You're making them unlikable.
Right.
You
You know,
know, I'm sorry, I was in the military for a long time. Trust me, I don't care if it was man or woman, what color you were. I don't like being talked to like that when I know I'm in the right.
somebody who's mutinied against her captain more times than I can count, and I'm supposed to like this person, you know?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
didn't like,
yeah.
but like I said, when we talk about it, you had in Star Wars. Okay, let's take Bill Burr's character.
Hmm.
We have him for 2 episodes. One episode in the first season and a second episode. And he got more of a storm. He got more as a stormtrooper story arc than Finn got in 3 movies.
Right. And that's true. They did Finn wrong. You know, there was potential in the first one for him to be, he's supposedly force sensitive. Um, they were hinting that maybe there could be something going on between him and Rey that could have carried on. So there was a lot of potential for him. He was an ex-stormtrooper, and then the second episode he was reduced to Rey, Rey, and it was just dumb.
Yeah, I did not like how they did his character, and then they didn't do him any justice in the uh, Rise of Skywalker. And on top of that, it's like, Ray, I have something to tell you. Oh, we get sucked down. Oh, this was a plot convenience to find a MacGuffin. And I
Hmm.
thought, okay, I was like, what? I'm like, and the plot was terrible. The plot point in there was terrible, but his character should have been, it should have been realized he was force sensitive by the second movie.
Right.
In that second movie, and he should have been training with Luke and Ray. He should have. They should have centered the story around his character, and Ray could have shown up in maybe the second movie as one of Luke's apprentices.
Hmm.
No, I think that Ray should have shown up. I agree with you in the second movie, but not as Luke's apprentice. I think that he should have shown up as maybe an offshoot Jedi.
Oh, that could have worked too, maybe. But
Like,
like
yeah,
we were saying earlier, Rev and Jack and I have been talking about this, and Positive Candors came in on this. It's like, yes, all at once, Star Trek and Star Wars and Doctor Who all got just pissed off. They magically trifected the three biggest science fiction franchises in modern history and decided to piss off most of the fans and alienate them. And whereas I haven't kept up with Doctor Who as much, but whereas Star Trek just seems to double down and triple down on the
Star
F you
Doctor
take what I like, the
Doctor
Star
Who.
Wars franchise is trying to build back up that goodwill, and they managed to do a very good start with the 2 seasons we got of The
Of the
Mandalorian.
man, yeah, okay. In Doctor Who, they had a scene with a very noted leftist activist, and he showed up and he said, "Oh yeah, I thought the Doctor was a man. Well, I've been upgraded."
Ugh, that sounds cringeworthy.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's no.
I've only seen the first episode of Jodie Whittaker's Doctor. I've never seen
that's one
any of the other
episode too
ones.
much.
I haven't watched. I don't watch Doctor Who, but I've like read up on it. I know of it, and I get why people are pissed off at at what's currently going on, because it's same things going on with Star Trek.
Yeah, the problem with Doctor Who is the character of the Doctor doesn't care. David Tennant died for a man he had only met twice. Like, that's the whole reason why he regenerated. Was he didn't have to. He could have just walked away and left Wilf, an old man, to die. But he turned around and it's like, no, I've had enough. Boom. Opens the doors, goes in, absorbs all the radiation, and it's like, huh, I'm alive. Looks at his hand, goes, I am mistaken. And that's how he regenerated. Matt Smith stayed on a planet to protect these people just because he didn't know who they were, he didn't know anything. All he heard was this planet was his grave. and he never wanted to go there, but yet he still stayed and he fought for hundreds of years for these people. And Jodie Whittaker handed a guy a detonator and ran away. That is not the Doctor.
Well, let's think about what Peter Capaldi's character did too. I mean, he was really, going on a suicide mission with those Cybermen
Yeah.
just because he was trying to save Bill. And I didn't like Bill, but at least, he was still acting like the Doctor.
Man, I hated the writing in the last season, but I will admit I didn't watch his regeneration episode because it seemed very woke. But I did like just before he regenerated to when he was talking to Bill and Nodal, and he was saying goodbye, and then he got to say goodbye to Clara and everything like that. I liked that. I did like that. Whereas, like, if I choose to live or die, thank you, but you're vials. I'm going to stop pretending that you're vials and just pretend that you're the real people. Thank you for everything you've done for me.
Like I said, I enjoyed it overall, but like I said, I have not watched much of Whittaker. I know some people who do like it. I know some people who don't. I'm not I probably would be okay with parts of it because I'm not a Whovian. I don't claim to be. I've seen every incarnation of the Doctor, but I do not claim to be a Whovian in any way, shape, or form.
I am a Whovian.
Yep, and that's understandable. So yeah, you're going to have a much more passionate process on that than me, whereas I have a deep, huge passion for Star Trek, which is why I vehemently
Guys,
hate.
I'll be right.
Yeah, no problem. And Jack, when you said it earlier, the sad part is LDS really was the superior of the three shows they've given us.
Yeah, and that was all about member berries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Here's the thing. Their last episode was almost decent. They actually tried to tell a story that had stakes and showed a little bit of character development and stuff like that. So
yeah, I remember we talked about that, and we said, if this had been kind of how the series had started, we might have been more optimistic. And I would like to see, we even said it, I'd like to see Boromir on the Titan because I think, he was finally starting to be like maybe he's going to be able to come into his own. He looked more positive, more confident. He wasn't getting treated like the butt of a joke, like Mariner treated him. I mean, Mariner treated him poorly.
I did not like the I guess I don't want to say relationship because that's misleading, but the way they like how they were friends, like it seemed more like she was just picking on him a lot of times or fucking with him.
Yeah.
And then when something actually positive happens to him at the end, when he actually finally gets promoted and moved to the Titan, she's mad for selfish reasons. She's not even happy for him. It's like, no. But I would say that
he doesn't answer the mail, and I'm thinking, good for him.
And I'm thinking this, maybe it seems as though the writers for Lower Decks are different from the writers of Discovery and Picard. So maybe they would benefit if they transferred the LDS writers to the Discovery writers room, and they transferred the Discovery writers room to the unemployment line.
I like that.
Yeah, that's kind of how I think about it. They don't have to be unemployed. I mean, just throw them a CW show to write or something. I don't care. Just get them off of Star Trek.
Well, here I got one for you. So here's a question for you. Since how many episodes are left in Star Trek Discovery for this season?
I think there was 13 episodes, and we're at episode 10.
Okay, so you got episode 11, 12, 13, so you have, 3-4 more episodes left?
Yeah, just 3.
Okay, I have a question. What is your stupid theory for the burn? What do you guys think they're going to come up with?
Discovery caused it.
Yeah, or Michael Burnham herself,
Yeah.
because she's the center of everything. She was the Red Angel, and if she started the Klingon War, she ended the Klingon War. So.
Yeah.
So Michael Burnham causes the burn.
Yeah, pretty
Probably.
much. It's named after
Yeah, so she has to undo the burn, and then once she undoes the burn, she's a hero. Put some topical cream on that burn.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
There's so many reasons to shit on Discovery. So many legitimate reasons. That it's kind of like it's sadly become a kind of a sport for me.
Oh, I know. It's entertaining on Twitter when you do those.
It is. I do find it entertaining to do that.
It is entertaining, I will admit.
I do like reaching out to other people to trying to get like legitimate discussions going on, and it's usually very hard to do it with people who are fans of Discovery.
I'm sure it is.
There are a few who are the exception. Ketwalski, I actually I've been able to talk to, and we've had adult conversations and back and forths and stuff like that. So I'll give him credit for that, even though there's other reasons why I don't like him. So I mean, but yeah, for the most part, it's really hard to actually have an intelligent, rational conversation with these people.
Yeah, I just don't even try anymore. I gave up. That's why I kind of don't get into the discussions. I kind of hit a few one where I was like, normally I would have said something. I'm like, nah, I just don't have the itch anymore right now. I can imagine it's gonna. I can imagine whatever the reason for the burn, it's going to be something incredibly stupid. If they're gonna try, I would not be surprised if they try to spin it as something really cool and mysterious, and everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, this is bullshit."
Oh yeah, I mean that's what the whole Red Angel thing was. Oh, that was supposed to be a huge mystery, and then you found out, and you were like, oh, it's basically Michael Burnham, but it's her mom. And then she puts on the suit, and I was like, actually, no, we were right.
Or this personal, or the storyline in Picard where it's like, oh, this was a message. This was a message from a race of androids, and if they read it and stuff, they'll come and destroy all organic life. And I'm like, oh, so the Romulans were actually right.
Well, so far, when it comes to the burn, so far they've traced the origin of the burn. It's in the middle of a nebula. There's a ship in the middle of the nebula, and it's giving out a distress signal. And at first it was decoded. I don't know why you would encode a distress signal. Yeah, I don't know why you would do that, but it was encoded, and so Adira found a way to uncode it or decode it, whatever. And it was what was it? The Kelpian ship. It was a Kelpian ship, but so now they're gonna go into that nebula. They're gonna go explore the nebula and find that ship probably. And who knows what's gonna happen when they get there? Because honestly, it's like what they do. Like for the most part, it's.
I'm sorry, I was gone for so long.
Oh, that's fine.
That's fine, bud.
Yeah, because for the most part, you can predict a lot of what happens in Discovery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have any of you been watching the latest season? Because I have.
I have.
Well, actually, that was the
my
question
God.
I was going with. I said, there's 3-4 episodes left. I said,
3.
what stupid reason do you think they're going to give for the burn?
Stupid reason?
Whatever reason you think they're going to have, but you probably think it sounds stupid.
Oh my God. Michael Burnham's spacesuit went and hit this little ship in the nebula, which caused the burn.
Okay, that works. Because she did send it out. She did send out that suit to be self-destruct, and maybe something about that. I don't know. I don't really care either.
No one cares. I'm just hate watching this so I can get I'm working on a review.
So
I-
basically, the
yeah.
consensus between you three, I know you three are following it. I'm not. So the consensus is it's Michael Burnham's fault, and she's gonna have
Yes.
to fix it.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
and then she'll fix it, and she'll be a hero for fixing the
Yes.
thing that she fucked up.
And caused what 100+ years of misery or something.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Guess starting a war. I guess starting a war wasn't
Hey.
enough.
NB, I
Yo.
got mad at this. I'm going to send you a message on your Twitter. Please look
Okay.
at that and tell me what year that uniform is from. And I will tell you the year that they stated.
That uniform would have been season 1
One.
and 2 of TNG era.
Now look at the
That-
badge.
Huh?
No, the badge is correct. I zoomed in
Okay.
and I checked.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
No,
this
you're going
would
to-
be the. Okay, hold on a second. Let me go ahead and share it because I got it popped up here. Let me share the screen for you guys. Twitter notifications. That should be it. Share. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, if you look, that is a season 1, season 2
So
style
2363?
uniform. What?
2363?
Sure, right around that time. Whatever season 1 and 2 were. I don't remember the exact
20,
dates yet.
Encounter Farpoint was 2363.
Okay, so this would be 63, 64 era.
2379.
No.
Yeah. I got visibly angry in my. You'll hear it in my review. I got at the end. I outright said, "Fuck you, to Alex Kurtzman."
Why
No,
are those and those holograms were fluctuating? Why are those holograms fluctuating in the 32nd century when holographic technology would not do that in a holodeck in the 24th century?
Unless there was a glitch going on.
Right, unless there was a glitch. But
So
No,
wait a minute. What year
um,
did you say,
that's-
Revan? What year did you say they said that uniform was from?
2379.
that's when
No.
the star exploded, wasn't it?
No.
No.
It's from that timeline, but that is when this show takes place. Alex Kurtzman got these two uniforms mixed up.
Yeah, that should have been the. They should still be in the old red uniforms.
No, they should not, because he's in 2379. They should
Oh
either
no,
be
it'd be in that
Lower deck.
uniform, that more Nemesis
With the gray
uniform.
gray shoulder pad.
Yes.
Yeah, it'd be ending gray shoulder pads and starting to move into lower decks.
Yes. Well, yeah. How do you screw that up? Because I even said when I first saw that picture, I'm like, okay, it's from season 1 and 2 of TNG era.
Now, just another quick note. If you're looking at the room that they're standing in, okay, that's post, like, DS9 technology, yeah?
Yes.
That's 10 years older than Kirk.
I don't get this show. I'm sorry, but I still don't see how people from 900 years are going to be able to figure out this technology that quick. I'm calling
Because
bullshit.
Michael Burnham is a Q. That's my final theory. Like, in the end, Michael Burnham, she reveals herself as a Q.
No, I have this stupid way I'd end it, and it don't make sense, but neither does the show, so fuck it. So Saru and the Discovery absorb the burn into the ship's dilithium. Hey Jack,
Yes.
the dilithium is still on Book's ship. Have you realized that?
Yeah, they haven't said that they've transferred
They
it
never
back.
took it back.
Discovery.
It's on Book's ship for safekeeping.
Right.
It's still on the fucking ship.
That is, yeah, I don't. Why would they
NB,
do that?
I don't know, NB. Basically, their logic is, hey, NB, see that, let's just say, see that cube that's in front of you that's highly dangerous, right? That everyone wants. We're going to put this somewhere safe, and we're going to put it in your car, in your driveway. That's the fucking
Yeah, I can see that now.
bookship is in their fucking hold all the time. It's like, yeah,
Book,
we're just
Book is just living on Discovery's cargo
he's
deck
living.
or
Yeah.
shuttle bay. That's just weird. Like, and so this 900-year-old ship comes with a stowaway or whatever the fuck, and Starfleet Vance knows about that shit, and that doesn't bother him. Like, I don't get that. Vance just lets everybody do whatever the fuck they want on that ship, which is weird. He should have broken that crew. He should have broken up that ship. He should have reverse engineered the spore drive so he could send it to give it to all the other ships. And the crew should have had like some time to acclimate to the current period, and then start new posts. Maybe go back to school or something. Like, I don't know.
No, you know what they could have done, Jack? Honestly, they could have had a montage, right?
Time to have a montage.
Montage. But have either bloody Burnham talking or Saru, and say something along the lines of, in the past year that we've been in the future, we've learned so much. Getting used to the technology. They have rerouted our spore drive, so now, and then you see other ships sporing in and out of the HQ. It's like,
right,
all the Federation ships now have our spore drive.
Right. I don't understand why these ships still run on dilithium when now they have a chance to have a spore drive that does like 10 times. They can go anywhere in the galaxy, pretty much, right? You can go to.
The Admiral said something last week that confused me. The Emerald Chain is moving against us. I can't do this. I've sent a message to the rest of the fleet. Where are they? You're running out of the lithium.
Right. Like, you guys barely have any. That's why you guys are living in a little bubble or whatever, right? So, like a spatial anomaly.
Hold on. Let's hear NB's reaction. Hey, NB.
Yo.
There's a holographic ship.
Yeah.
Oh. What?
There's a holographic ship. The hulls are made of holograms, and you know how those holograms fluctuate. Can you imagine like going down a hallway and all of a sudden like it fluctuates and you get sucked into space?
Commander Jack.
I need you to keep your hologram ship and shove it up your ass.
Commander Jack, I need you to go and report to Commander Geeks and tell him that your captain has sent a word that we're to go and warp. Yeah, sir. Sir, there's been a fluctuation. Jack says, where is he?
So I'm still trying to figure out why they're still in Discovery uniforms.
We don't know. There's no
I don't
reason.
know that either. Yeah, I don't know why either. Like, that makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, it's like you're still in. Have they explained how many planets are still in the Federation yet?
They did. It was like, I can't remember. 90. They did say, was it 90?
Some really low like that.
Yeah.
Maybe 30.
Yeah, I'd have to watch it again, and no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. Nah, I could always memory alpha it, I'm sure. But yeah, I don't understand this. Okay, I understand keeping Saru in charge as captain of the ship. That makes sense. But he should have been. Some of those people should have been filtered out to other posts. Stamets shouldn't be on the ship. Stamets should be the one working the research for the reverse engineering of the spore drive, like Jack, you even said. That's what he should be doing. That would make what any logical admiral would do with this piece of technology. It's the most valuable piece of technology, and you're just letting it willy-nilly around.
NB, if I showed up, just say for talking, you're a military dude. I show up with a ship. I now cannot go back to my own time. I show up with a ship from 950 years in the future. How fast before I lose control of that ship and it has been ripped apart?
Yes.
Pretty much right off the bat. Pretty much right off the bat. It's going to be like, okay, we need to have a debriefing. It's going to be it's going to be broken up into various areas. You're going to have the command staff's going to be the ones getting the main debrief. And they're basically also going to tell them, it's like, look, they even have a choice they could even have a choice of saying, look, we understand the timeline thing, but you're 900 years out of service. We're going to have to do you guys are going to have to do some upgrade training, understanding. I mean, you got to figure the math is probably the math mechanics have got to have gone out of the way. You can't tell me their chief engineer is going to understand 900-year-old technology. Look at what happened to Scotty. He was only, 60, 70 years out of date?
We don't know who the chief engineer is. We've never met him.
The chief engineer can't be the one from Discovery. He wouldn't know the first thing about how to work the chief engineer.
We have never met the chief engineer.
I think you're right, because Stamets is not the chief engineer.
And neither is the one who we met in season 2. None of them are the chief engineer.
Okay, let's put it this way. The navigators, yes, they can probably be relatively retrained within a year's time frame to learn the new piloting skills. The engineering department, that's a whole nother mechanic.
Yeah.
Plus, these people have to have basic... plus, remember, you have to have basic understanding of certain other functions on the ship.
Right.
And they're all going to be completely out of... You're all going to be fish out of water. I mean, like we said, look what happened to Scotty. He was only, 70, 80 year... It was a 70, 80-year difference, and he was like, the technology's gone way ahead of him. And, he's like, could he understand some of it? At some point, yes. But it would be relearning all that stuff. And that would have to go back to school.
Two buttons and set off an alarm.
What's that?
Scotty did. Scotty set off. Yeah, he pressed 2 buttons and set off an alarm. And Jordan was like, whoa, dude, you nearly depolarized the chamber. I nearly done what and what? Scotty, can you go make yourself busy somewhere else, please?
Right.
And these people are...
And then he felt bad for a while, so he had to try to make him feel useful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Scotty finally realized that he was, this was way ahead of his head. He was way over his head. So that's why he decided to retire.
Well, here's another thing which is very logical. You both have kids. Let's say I put you both into the future. Would you not turn around and go, computer, just say for talk's sake, you're like, I'm looking for the descendants of a Lieutenant Jaina Geeks. Right. I want the family tree to find out who's living now. So I can at least meet some of your own bloody family.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
None of them done that. And it appears like nobody on this ship has a kid.
When they get to Earth, when they finally get down to Earth, they all go and hug a tree. Literally hug a tree.
I'm still trying to figure out what was it. There was 80-something crew member that stayed on the ship and voluntarily. I'm like, I'm calling bullshit here.
Some of them died in the crash, but all the important people survived, so that's okay.
And B, this is going to sound bad, but the crew was heavily, unreally female. And I mean, I
wonder what happened to that wheelchair guy.
He died. He died because the emergency exit was upstairs.
How tragic!
Imagine if he fell out when he hit the he was going across the cargo bay and the shield turned off and he got sucked out.
Oh man, that's bad. Anyways,
like I said, oh my goodness. So, what do you guys think we're gonna get out of? What do you think the next season of Orville is gonna be like? I mean, we've had a long break.
I think the next season of Orville is going to be amazing. Because you all have to realize they have to try and say to the fans, hey, it's been worth the wait. We're sorry for everything taking so long. I know that the world went to hell, but it's going to be worth the wait. And it's going to be more serialized. And now they don't have to work with ad breaks. They have longer episodes and bigger budget.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the third season because the first two is the only thing that is remotely feels like Star Trek now. So by the I've said this before. When I first heard of the Orville, I was expecting Orville to be what Lower Decks is, and I was expecting Discovery to be Star Trek, and I was utterly disappointed with Discovery. But by the third episode of Orville, it was called "It's a Girl." I was oh god, what's that actor's name? Jeff. It's
Which character?
from Jurassic Park. You crazy son of a bitch!
Oh,
You did.
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum. Thank you, Goldblum. I'm high right now. Sorry.
It's okay, you're American.
But yeah, so that's what it reminded. Like it was like, you crazy sons of bitches, you actually did it. You created a Star Trek episode, and so like I started watching that with more enthusiasm. And by the second season's Identity Part 1 and 2 with Isaac, his people trying to take over the ship and all that, I was blown away.
No, what
away.
got me, what made me go, okay, I love this show, was one line. Was when Isaac was willing to kill anyone. Like just being like, oh yeah, like it doesn't matter. And then Bortus turned around and was like, I'm glad I'm not like you.
Yeah, that was a good line.
It was.
That was very good.
Yeah. Like the
And
acting between them.
They managed to have fun with it too, because we have TNG, or let's say we have I mean, they pretty much have the similar technology as what we're used to in Star Trek. And then we've seen some of the fun stuff they've done with it, like the kids sneaking into one of the other replicators to get alcohol. Yeah, of
Right.
course
That
that's
makes sense.
something that would make sense, and that's funny. Oh, there's porn going on the holodecks. Yes, we all knew that would probably be the case, but this actually could show it. And
that was
highlight
happening
it.
in TNG. I guarantee
that.
that.
It was.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, one of the other things too is, when you think about Orville, is within a very small amount of episodes, every character got some growth, and almost every character in the first season, I think, except for one, and I think it was Malloy. I think it was Malloy. Was that the one with the beard, the one who's played by Scott Grimes?
Malloy.
Yeah. Malloy, I think, was the only character who didn't have an episode centered around him. Isaac did. The Doctor did.
Are you talking about season 1?
I like how what's his name became the chief engineer.
Yes.
How they did that. But by the time we got through it, you knew within a few episodes, you pretty much knew the entire bridge crew. I think by season 2, most people still didn't even know who any of the bridge crew was on Discovery.
Dude, no, because they never said their names until.
Have you watched any of Discovery?
I watched all of season 1. I got about 3 episodes into season 2. And I was like, as soon as I found out what they were going to do with Spock, I'm like, I am not going to let you screw me like you did with Picard. I've only seen 3 episodes of this season, and I was like, okay, I'm sick of this.
Okay, MB, so excuse me, you remember the stupid thing that Pike had to do? Because nobody knew anyone's name. It's like, I'm not going to learn any of your names. Roll call. Who are you? What do you do? What do you do? Who are you? What do you do? Who do you? I am Decker. I do this. And I'm like, and I've forgotten all your names. The only people's names I actually... No, I forgot her name now.
I don't know anybody's. I mean, I didn't know hardly any of the names on Picard, for that matter. And I still can't believe they had that one girl. I mean, she basically just commits cold-blooded murder and gets away with
it. But here's the thing.
But she feels really bad about it. So bad she fucks the captain.
Yeah, but here's something else that is stupid from Picard. Why did they not download data into another body?
Oh, yeah, we already had that discussion. Well, remember this too. I made this comment. We were talking about the spore drive and why 900 years in the future, and I said, wait a minute. I thought Jack brought up the point. 900 years in the past, the reason why they had to use human or something like that is because the computer wasn't big enough to handle it. I'm fairly certain 900 years in the future that I'm pretty sure the computer's pretty freaking good now.
You know what? You know what would have been a good line? An absolute, like, what could have made even more sense is if they turned around and it's like, you know that the spore drive only works off of me genetically. Okay? So I'm sorry, you're saying that the tardigrade DNA is inside of you. Yeah. Jabs him in the neck with a hyper spray, pulls out a load of blood. This will be enough. Walks off and is like, what did you just do? Oh, I just saved Starfleet. Thanks.
Oh, I took the hypo spray here. I've got your blood. I'm gonna go replicate it now. You can't replicate my blood. Oh yeah, we can do this. Oh, trust me, we can replicate just about anything now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we figured out that medical stuff long ago, buddy. Hey, of course, he doesn't know what he shouldn't know what a replicator is because replicators weren't invented yet by then.
Nope. If you remember in Discovery, every morning when they got a brand new uniform, they synthesized it.
That was dumb.
Well, they're still the ones who. Oh, the continuity breaker started in the beginning when they showed us those holographic projections, and it's like, I distinctly recall that being new technology in DS9.
Yes. Also,
I mean,
NB,
the point was, and I mean, so the point where it was even referenced that Chief O'Brien's been dying to turn it on for the last hour.
Yes. But here's something else that's stupid. They gave someone what's in the Temporal Accords. Okay? In the Temporal Accords that are ironclad, you cannot travel interdimensionally, which means they have the ability to travel to new timelines.
Oh, I heard they screwed over the Guardian too.
You mean Carl?
Who?
Carl?
Who the hell's Carl?
Give me 1 second.
Oh yeah, so okay, we got to catch you up on something. They tried to bring back the Guardian of Forever, but they didn't. They didn't do it at first. What they did was they brought back. They brought this old guy and a door, and the old guy is reading a newspaper. He's an actor who was in another show recently.
Law and Order.
Law and Order. But he calls himself Carl. By the way, the writers admit that they named him after Carl Sagan, which I don't really give a shit. But
and B, he's in your Twitter.
Yeah, they make a big deal about that. But so Georgiou goes through the door, and it takes her back to her time in the mirror universe. And so she goes through, does the plot thing, dies, comes back to Carl and the door.
Oh yeah. Before she comes back, she basically, if she like egged Michael Burnham up Andy Harder, she'd come on it. She's like, oh, I've seen what you could be, Michael Burnham, and it's glorious.
I gotta go.
You become a time traveler. Okay, Positive Candor.
Take care, Positive Candor. Yeah, we're probably going to wrap up in a few minutes anyway, because we're crouching up on 2-hour mark. But yeah, I don't understand it. Yeah, I saw the picture of the guy you were talking about. I was like, oh my god, you're serious? That was
no. When they're like, what's that? He says, you should have read up on doors before you came here.
Yeah,
and then he's some kind of babbling idiot.
Oh no! Wait. Here's another line. What do you call a cute portal? Adorable. Like that's what that's an actual line that he says to these people.
And then when he says, "Who are you, Carl?" his voice becomes the actual voice again from the Guardian of Forever.
Oh so when Georgiou comes back, then they're both like, you know, who are you? Who are you? And he's like, oh, I'm the guardian of what? But, you know, they try to make it all fucking, you know, they do the CG thing. The door breaks up into 1,000 splinters, and then it like reforms into the actual gate. But it looks like there's a butthole portal in the middle of it or something like that. And
Yeah.
you know, and so then all of a sudden, like after all that, he starts to straight talk to them. After all the stupid curiosity crap, he finally like starts laying it out. Oh yeah, we were testing you, blah blah blah. You can't
We were
stay here.
weighing you.
Yeah, weighing you. But you can't stay here because you'll still die. So we're gonna take you to something about to a time when
The
when
mirror
the
universe,
mirror universe and the
Yeah.
original universes were more in sync, more in line, or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, and they
so-
also ask. They say Giorgio asks, "What was that? Did that happen?" And he's like, "Check for yourself." And she's like, "What? 3 months of my date?" He's like, "You know, Giorgio, there's a version of you that's dying on that starship floor right now. There's a version of you that's in here. There's a version of you that never left the Terran universe and is ruling it quite well, I must say. And then there's a version of you that is a captain on a starship far, far away. Who are you going to be?"
So she goes through the portal into what I am assuming is the Section 31 show.
That's not going to happen.
I don't know.
Was this supposed to be like some kind of redemption story for her?
Yes.
Yes, it's supposed to be a redemption story for a space Hitler, basically. It's like trying to redeem Hitler. You know, after all the stupid shit he did, you know, and then, let's have a redemption episode for Hitler. Yeah, no.
Hold on.
Oh crap!
So
we might
it's-
get. Oh crap! We just might have violated one of Twitter's rule or one of YouTube's rules and said one of their naughty words. So
Oh no.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you
yeah,
said space.
I've actually heard some people tell me that's one of the words we're not allowed to say.
Oh, okay.
I've said it.
The H word?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
If
I will
it
not
happens,
say
it
that
happens.
anymore.
I ain't gonna freaking worry about it.
I-
I've
to
been
be
told
honest-
that. I have no idea if it actually happens.
Okay. I will refrain from the H word.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of ridiculous too to hear. I'm like, really? You're censoring words I use? What if that's somebody's name? I actually knew guys in the military named that. Felt bad for them, but that was their name.
Hold on, new guy's named Adolf?
No, the H word. That was their last name. Felt bad for the guy, but I never said shit because I was like, even I'm not that cold. I'm like,
Okay,
this
can you
guy's
hear me?
probably heard it enough already as is throughout his life. I'm sure he doesn't need more shit like
He
that.
must have been in a relation because everybody like who wasn't related to him all changed their name to like Heiler or Hitler or something like that.
I don't
Right.
know.
Well-
I don't know. Probably not. It probably is just a family name, and they decided they didn't want to get rid of it. I don't know. I didn't
Well-
ask because, quite frankly, he outranked me, so it was kind of pointless.
You didn't want to screw with someone with fancy bars on their neck.
No, I didn't want to get. No. He had stripes, so I just didn't want to get decked. Because I'm sure I would have gotten decked and probably rightly deserved it.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That seems kind of strange to give her a redemption arc and then
A funeral.
Yeah.
They gave her
were
a
they just
funeral.
like, was this like a two-parter filler episode, basically two
Yes.
filler episodes?
It's a filler episode, yeah. Like, you know, because they start off talking about, you know, the burn mystery, and then, you know, in the middle of it, all of a sudden they forget about the burn and they're in the mirror universe, and then at the halfway point to through the second episode, they're back out of the mirror universe and they're back onto the burn.
And then they start going on. Then they hold a funeral for her, and people are crying because she's gone.
They hold a funeral for Space Mussolini.
And they're
Hey,
standing.
V-Star.
Oh, that's actually another word, Jack.
Are you serious? I can't say
Don't know.
That's
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
that's a historical figure that
I know. I can say Stalin all I want.
Space
No, you can't.
Stalin.
Yeah, we'll go with Stalin. So wow, that's interesting. Oh goodness gracious! I
Like
can't even
just
imagine how bad. I'm gonna enjoy when you guys tell me what the burn was all about because I'm probably going to laugh my
hey,
ass off.
Envy, I have an
Yo,
idea. Do you want to watch it live with me? Me, you, and Jack.
when
Uh,
Watch it get like when it goes out. Like when you
it
wake up, I can stream it for all three of us.
it depends on the time,
Well, I
but
can
yeah,
stream it when you're available.
yeah,
well, yeah, it does depend on time too. Well, like I said, you are Jack is 3 hours behind me. That's one of the reasons why I don't do these earlier in the day on the weekend. I would, but Jack, I have to think about his schedule too.
Well, when on a Fridays are you available,
I'm available most of the damn day.
Jack?
well, because I work early, I work in the morning, so
Okay.
it would have to be like at night for me, like the night before or the morning before.
Okay.
Um, I'll tell you what, we'll hit it up on Twitter and we'll talk about it. We'll talk
Yeah,
about it for between now and then. Well, actually, Friday's going to be completely out of shot this week because Friday's
No, it's out
Christmas.
in. It ends in 3 weeks.
Oh, what?
It ends in 3 weeks.
Okay. Well, Friday's December 25th, so I am not going to be hanging out on social media Christmas Day. It's just
Why
not
is
so
going to
that a
happen.
this
special
is
day for anyone?
Christmas.
I've never heard of that day.
Mm.
Did
Oh,
any of you
trust
watch
me,
Sabrina the
it's
Teenage?
going to be a very busy day for me.
Have any of you watched Sabrina the Teenage Witch back in the day?
Yeah,
I watched Clarissa Explains It All.
I did
We're
watch
old.
that too.
Yeah, God, we're old. But do any of you remember the episode where she went back in time and screwed it up, and she's like going there for Christmas, and it's just an ordinary day, and you're like, "What's Christmas?" But
Damn, no, I don't remember that one.
I've got a weirdly good memory about stupid shit.
Eh. All right, well, let's guys, we've had a good open line, had some good ones. AV Star, Elihu, Pop Culture Avenger, Jack, Revan. Thanks everyone. Have a good one. We will see you all later. I'm sure other people are around doing chats and stuff, live streams. I don't know. I'm gonna see what else everybody's doing. Maybe I'll catch in or listen in, or I'm gonna play something on the PS4. But until then, folks, we're gonna change it up a little bit. But may the force be with you. And if I don't see any of y'all, Merry Christmas.
All right.